let's move over to the 2024 race. Democrats don't want Joe
What's your
Biden.
message to Democrats who don't want you to run again?
They want me to run.
2/3 say they
Read
don't.
the polls. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. That poll showed that 92% of Democrats, if I ran, would vote for me.
A majority of Democrats say they don't want you to run again in 2024.
92% said if I did, they'd vote for me.
Well, President Biden there putting on a happy face, trying to spin those terrible numbers from the New York Times as he's pressed on a dismal poll showing nearly...
I think I speak for pretty much everybody. Like, the optimal thing is if you just don't run again and there is a vigorous open primary. Hell, even let Hillary Clinton come back and run. Everybody can be in the primary. Let everybody into the primary. Let's see how it actually pans out. Bernie, come back, Bernie. And Bernie may know something that we don't know, since he is gearing up for another presidential run, it would seem. And he said the only way that he would run is if Biden didn't run. But, like, we've got to get these old fuckers out of here. Our generation. The Gen Xers, the millennials, and even the Gen Z. We need to get them out of power. And we need to take the reins of power. Like, Joe, I don't even think Joe Biden is a baby boomer, is he? Joe Biden's like older than a baby boomer. Motherfucker is older than a baby boomer. 35 to be president.
Two-thirds of Democratic primary voters would not want him to run again for president in 2024.
Wow. Here to react, Fox News contributor and former White House...
Oh, Joe just missed being a boomer by like a year.
This book, Suppression, Deception, Snobbery, and Bias, Why the Press Gets So Much Wrong and Doesn't Care.
Katie Porter. Katie Porter is my pick for 2024. Katie Porter has been my pick for 2024 since before Biden was sworn into office. I'm like, we need to primary Joe Biden with Katie Porter. Somebody needs to primary Joe Biden. And I think Katie Porter would be the absolute best woman for the job. And I would absolutely love to have Katie Porter as our president. That's my pick. I think that we can finally get a because she is inoffensive. Two for the right. Do you know who I'm even talking about, Lady B? Katie Porter is awesome. Yes, it says hiss. Hey, Smokey. Here's your kitty. Ah. Katie Porter is like the best we could ever hope for in a 2024 race. I think she is one of the most progressive people. You know what? Let's go to her social media here. She currently has COVID. Where the fuck did I see that video? She had like a message on like I guess it was Twitter. All right, I give up. I give up.
It is finally available to purchase. We heard so much about it, but this plays right into what you're talking about. By the way, why is he so angry?
I don't know. I wasn't watching him. I was watching.
If you watch some Katie Porter, you would love her, Lady B. She's sassy. She puts people in their place.
I mean, his response was not something I mean.
He's got a quick temper, doesn't he? You know, we all think convivial Joe Biden, but there's something. He snaps. He snaps too easy at the wrong things. But what a fabrication and what a fantasy land he's living in if he thinks the Democrats really want him to run. They don't.
The number was from him saying head-to-head with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
How many Democrats would vote for Donald Trump, would vote for him? 92%. But that's just one portion of a poll where only 24% want him to run, period.
Yeah, look, if he runs against Donald Trump, the Democrats are going to rally. That's going to be a fact. Right? The problem is the Democrats don't want him to be the candidate.
Right. 64% of them say nominate a different person. These are Democrats. Who do they have?
Oh, they're going to have 28 candidates again. Remember, last time they had 28 candidates. We had 2 nights of debates because there were so many on 2 different stages.
Hell yeah.
The same thing will happen.
Yeah, no, Ari Fleischer's still around.
Democracy. Primaries let the parties.
And why would we listen to a former Republican press secretary about like what the Democrats should do?
Blood come and get established. So this will be the future for the Democrats. I predicted this in May that Biden is not going to run again. Right. Just think about the day after the November election. If they lose the House, lose the Senate, do they really want an unpopular 80-year-old to lead them into the future?
Sure. And to the point about your book, about
I don't think they're going to lose the House. I think they could possibly lose the House, probably not the Senate.
You've got the terrible New York Times poll.
Oh shit! If you look down at the graphic down here, it has Dan Crenshaw. And for those of you who don't know, I would give anything I own, everything in the world, to piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. Oh, yeah. Might have to make that a little bigger. Homiera Bear. Did I say that right? Thank you for being a freaking follower. Welcome. Welcome. Dan Crenshaw is a fucking dickhead. My God, is he a fucking dickhead. That's the reason why I would give anything to piss in his open eye hole. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole reason. I hope that worked, and that worked on all of them, and not just like, yeah, there we go. Good. Talon of the Silverhawk. You want to call in? You want to hop in the Discord? You want to have an argument? I'm down. I'm totally down. I'm gonna have to repack my bong here.
Or they did the story.
'Cause I'm not high enough for this shit.
He's too old. He's shuffling around. Then
He was just getting ready to appear on Fox
The New
News.
York Times validated the Hunter Biden laptop, and then yesterday the Washington Post ran a great big op-ed from Fred Ryan that said
I gotta
the president
repack it.
was
I gotta
out of his
repack it.
mind
Hold on.
to go to Saudi
Start
Arabia.
craving.
So it's almost like are they trying to push him toward the exit or trying to make him better?
Well, and this is one of the reasons I wrote this book, because I am so fed up with the press and the way that they are so pro-democratic. So here's what I think is going on with the recent turn in coverage. It's temporary. It's a passing phase. So what's happening now is this represents the angst of the Democrats, the people the college-educated voters who are now increasingly Democratic, who don't want Biden to run, as we talked about. It's being reflected in the media coverage. But if Biden
saying young people?
This will be over with in an instant.
They're all in.
And especially if it's against Trump or DeSantis or Kristi Noem, you name the Republican, as soon as it becomes that choice, the New York Times, the Washington Post will flip right back into activism coverage, bashing Republicans, propping up Biden, and wait for them to flip and say, look how vigorous Joe Biden is. Because that's what's happened to the press.
In order to write this book, you had to watch a lot of media, a lot of news. What did you find?
Yeah, I have one chapter on CNN, one chapter on the New York Times. So I read, and I regularly do read, but I watch CNN all the time. And it's activism. It is opinion journalism. They're daytime shows. They're daytime reporters letting their opinions rip. And that came from management on down. And this is the problem with the media today. They are no longer neutral. They're no longer objective. They want to have one side win. And
You're on Fox News, which is just straight up Republican propaganda. You publish quotes from Republican figures just as is on social media. There's no reporting or anything. There's no journalism. You are straight up fucking probably you modeled that. Fox News was the model for exactly what you're talking about. It blows my fucking mind. I wish these people could feel embarrassment. Please learn to feel embarrassment.
I'm talking mainstream media, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post. And the American people know it. Right. Poll after poll shows that the American people think that the press no longer tells the news fully, fairly, and accurately.
Sure. Here's an excerpt from
You're on Fox!
Talking about the media, why they seem to not give him a fair shot. Because I guess it's ideology. I think it's ideology. Maybe they didn't like me personally. I guess. I do all these...
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot about, like, Trump says that he did, or, like, Trump supporters say that, like, oh, nobody gave him a fair shot. He's a doofus. We've known him like all our fucking lives. He was just a doofus that would like venture into shit. He would show up in Home Alone or, you know, in the Ninja Turtles or what the fuck ever. I don't know if he was in the Ninja Turtles, but it was just like shit like that. He was in a lot of movies. I'm not a fan about public speaking, argue what. Talon, your comment doesn't really make any sense. What does that mean? Maybe I'm too high. Maybe your comment is perfectly cogent and I'm just too high to understand it. That is possible. I will concede that. But I don't think it makes sense because I'm pretty good. I don't think I'm too high to understand. Maybe you're high too. Ooh. Smoke them if you got them.
Things, and I don't get credit for it. I noticed that very early, the economy was good. I got no credit. Jobs were good. I got no credit. I started to say, what do I have to do to get some credit? He's not wrong.
You know, I interviewed the president.
You know, he is wrong because, like, the credit goes to
like iPad that was preloaded with some of the worst.
I say it all the fucking time. To the extent that presidents have an effect on the economy, it takes a couple of years. It takes a couple of years to see that effect. Trump was riding the Obama wave. Obama was a good president for all the indicators. And Trump rode that wave and COVID came along and wrecked everything. And now we're living with the consequences of all the policies of the Trump administration now. We'll see what Biden is able to do. Like, we're a year and a half in at this point. You know, so come the beginning of next year, like now we can really start evaluating, okay, what has the the Biden administration and Congress done? And like, to be honest with you, it's not fucking much because we've been operating on continuing resolutions from the last administration. I'm sorry, I need to take a rip.
Television coverage he got, I hit play and I showed it to him. So I started with when he went to Japan, remember, and fed koi fish, and right. CNN doctored the video to make it look like Trump the boer dumped an entire box of food into the feed the koi fish. So he'd never seen it before. And I showed it to him. I said, what's your reaction? You did exactly what Prime Minister Abe did, and then CNN edits it and says you don't know how to feed fish. I mean, this is the lengths that the mainstream media went to get the guy. And this is part of what inspired me. I was watching collusion coverage. I was watching the Steele dossier coverage. And I try to call the balls and strikes, be fair to President Trump, be fair to everybody. And the press was...
Trump did not increase the economy. I can show you the GDP growth between him and Obama's economy was way better. That's just a fact, man. Like, you can't just say shit.
Unfair to President Trump. And this book is the reckoning that the press deserves.
But I think that you found out the reason why. It was right in your open. You go to Columbia School, the journalism school, and you ask them, by the way, any Republicans, how many Democrats?
Yeah.
You did it twice.
Yeah.
What did you find both times?
Both times I did it, first in 1998 and the second time in 2020, 24-0 Democrats over Republicans.
And
Not one single person voted for a
And they
Republican.
bring that agenda to their coverage.
Of course, it fills every newsroom.
Check out his brand new book. It's available today. It's called Suppression, Deception, Snobbery, and Bias: Why the Press Gets So Much Wrong and Just Doesn't Care. Ari, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I'll see you on
Appreciate
radio.
it. See you on radio.
All right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley
Steve
Earhart. And
Ducey.
click here to subscribe to the...
But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that Trump was in was I don't know. I don't know if he was in one of them. He was in a lot of fucking movies. I don't know. Find out. Oh yeah, we're gonna hear his thoughts on Ivana dying here in a little bit. It is IMDb. Do. He's been nominated for 2 primetime Emmy. Another 7 wins and 4, I guess, for The Apprentice. We're gonna go to his actor film. He was in Zoolander. God damn it. WrestleMania 23. Spin City. The Drew Carey Show. The Nanny. The Associate. Eddie. The Little Rascals. Home Alone 2. Lost in New York. All My Children. Ghost Can't Do It. Bobby Brown on Our Own. He was in a music video. So no, Trump was not in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But he was in 2 weeks' notice. Oh, goddamn. So let's talk. We talked about how the Democrats don't want Biden, but apparently the Republicans don't want Trump. But it doesn't matter because Trump says he's already made that decision. We're reading from Newsmax here. Trump on 2024 run. I've already made that decision. Former President Trump told New York Magazine he had made his decision about whether to run again for the nation's highest office in 2024. Trump did not give his verdict, but told the magazine the only remaining question concerning the timing of an announcement indications have been that he plans to run. Well, in my own mind, I've already made that decision, so nothing factors in anymore. In my own mind, I've already made that decision. I would say my big decision will be whether I go before or after the midterms. Do I go before or after? That will be my big decision. Because we're reading Trump's perspective. So why wouldn't we read from Newsmax? It was the source that I got the story from. The Trump advisors told the Washington Post that the former president was eyeing a September announcement, with one saying the odds were 70-30 he announces before the midterms. I think he's going to announce before the midterms, and the Republicans are scared to death of that happening because the Trump effect is actually really bad for them. What does Nancy Pelosi think about a Trump run for office? This is from the same press conference we saw earlier.
Month or so. What impact would that have on the midterms, and would it benefit Democrats?
Do I ever even mention his name? When I even waste my time talking about him? What I will say is, and I'll say this and I've said it again and again, Democrats have absolutely no intention of losing the House in November, and the Senate too. We are mobilized, we are fortified, we have great candidates, and we have a great, our country is our democracy is at risk. But what we are campaigning on are the kitchen table issues that affect America's working families, so they know the difference between a Democratic and Republican administration, on top of a Congress, on top of which our democracy is at stake. I don't speculate on who's running in 2024, even if it's the former occasional occupant of the White House. That's up to the Republicans to figure out what impact it may have on them. But we do know that if people vote, women win, and so do their issues. So that's what we're about.
Oh, Nancy, I wish you would just leave. I wish you would just leave. I did mention Ivana. I do have a video, like, she died. She died. I do have a video of Trump talking about her. He used her for fundraising. I find that amusing.
A new poll shows that nearly half of future Republican primary voters support presidential candidates not named Donald Trump. The poll was conducted by the New York Times and Siena College, and it found that 49% of the voters surveyed would support former President Trump for a third nomination. The greatest threat to that third potential nomination appears to be Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, the only contender in the survey.
So the cards are falling exactly right for Democrats to actually win in the fall. It's wild. It's wild. Can they capitalize on it? Or are they gonna fuck it up? Are they going to stumble going across the finish line? Because, like, if Trump does announce in September, that's the time you'd announce a new product and everything. That the Trump effect going into the midterms, everybody's riled up about Roe v. Wade. It could spell trouble for right wing.
To receive double-digit support from Republicans. Now, joining me now, David Drucker, senior political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. David is also the author of a very good 2021 book entitled In Trump's Shadow: The Battle for 2024 and the Future of the GOP. David, it's great to see you. I know it's just one poll, but it's consistent with other polling data that we've seen. Does this suggest to you that the Republican electorate likely to be there in 2024 has developed something of a fatigue factor with the former president and is looking for alternatives?
You know, Major, as I've traveled around the country and talked to Republican voters while covering the midterm elections for 2022, I have detected some soft spots for President Trump in his armor there, or at least some soft spots in between the armor plates, as I like to say. I think the question is whether or not the Republicans that are planning to run for president, whether or not Trump runs, can exploit those weak points. One of the things I think we should understand is that Republican voters, whatever they think about Trump, really liked his policy agenda and are really grateful, in a sense, for all that they believe he accomplished, that they believe so many presidents before him promised to accomplish, but simply did not. And so one of the reasons he's been able to...
What the fuck did he accomplish?
...as a major player in the Republican Party, despite having lost the House, the Senate, and the White House on his watch. And, you know,
that's because we don't have any semblance of a true democracy.
His obsession with unsupported stolen election claims is because they really believe that from a policy standpoint, he made their lives better, and he kept promises that other politicians didn't. Having said all that, there is a desire developing for a fresh face and a fresh leader, somebody who continues the Trump legacy from a policy standpoint, even from the standpoint of fighting people like you and me in the media, fighting the Democrats, et cetera. But that
this guy, the other guy kind of looked like Vince McMahon. It was tripping me out.
That offers him a little bit more finesse and a little bit less baggage.
Right. And this is a two-tiered process because the poll found, not surprisingly, I think, to you or to me, that only 16% of Republican voters surveyed would abandon Trump if he was the 2024 nominee. And I think you have this conversation. I have it with Republicans all the time. I'm maybe looking for an alternative, but if he's the party nominee, knowing that it's either going to be President Biden running in 2024 or someone like that, I will choose Trump and do that happily.
Yeah, you know, politics these days is so tribal. It's really shirts and skins games for a lot of voters.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
All sorts of problems. but no matter what, anything's better than the other guys. And there are not a lot of voters who will look at misbehavior and misdeeds and decide that you're disqualifying. Now, they're in a general election way of looking things, right? If we look at Trump as a general election nominee versus either Joe Biden or whoever the Democrats nominate in 2024, those 16% or 9% or 5% or 12% could be the difference between winning and losing in a general election. But because Trump has enjoyed a real high floor among the Republican base, and because politics is not like it was 30, 40 years ago, because it's so much of us versus them, and I see this on the left as well as the right.
I don't think he'll have the number of voters he had in 2020.
Well, if he's nominated, he loses. He very well could win. And I think it's important for us to understand from both the standpoint.
He wasn't convicted. You wouldn't be able to run for president if you were convicted.
Could Trump do it again in the Republican
wasn't convicted
Party?
In the Senate.
It depends on how you look at polling. What are the conditions at the time? Who are the
twice impeached
presented to voters? How does a campaign unfold? You know, I've said this quite a bit in discussing in Trump's shadow.
Oh, he was impeached twice.
Republicans that will run against Trump for the 24 nomination.
But it's a whole ordeal. He wasn't convicted by the Senate.
They don't make the case.
So therefore, the punishment doesn't get dealt out.
Voters are not simply going to decide on their own. Enough with Trump. I think we'll go with the other guy. I think a Republican is going to have to take it from him. And it remains to be seen whether any of them are going to be willing to go at him the way he goes at them.
So that tees up our next question, David. The poll indicates, as others have, that for the moment, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who is preparing his own reelection campaign and greeting and having conversations with lots of other Republican governors and sort of trying to build a larger political apparatus around him, may be the person who could take on former President Trump if he so decides. Size that up for our audience, if you'd be so kind.
Well, I think when you look at Governor Ron DeSantis, you have to look at somebody who has been
Ron DeSantis
using the levers of power available to him to affect conservative policy. And so he could make a case in running against Trump that while Trump did a lot of good, there was a lot more good he could have done if he wasn't so caught up in talking about what he thinks and was more focused on doing what he thinks. And Governor DeSantis can contrast his pandemic policy during the coronavirus crisis with that of President Trump's, and it would probably, in the minds of many Republican primary voters, compare favorably. And he could compare other aspects of his record, how he's handled public education in Florida.
It's not even a given that he's going to win the governorship in Florida.
Issues like going after the large technology companies with social media platforms. In some of these cases, what DeSantis has accomplished.
It's going to be interesting to see if he actually runs in the primary. He is acting like he's going to. Glenn Youngkin's coming on strong.
Their leaders. And what he could say is that he's been able to work within the system rather than constantly beating the system up, such that voters in Florida feel really good about their government and really good about their leadership. And I think that
his policy was indeed to let it rip in Florida. And because Florida is a warmer state, because it has more outdoor infrastructure, it did better in terms of death. There's still a lot of fucking people died in Florida. And Florida did undercount their numbers. That has been proven. Let's get Donald's reaction to his first wife dying. Talon asked why I would talk about Ivana. I do a news show. I'm running down the news of the day. This is something that is in the news, so we got to touch on it. Trump announces his former wife Ivana has died. He sent out a fundraising email about his wife dying, which is just wild, craven, just like Trump.
Former President Donald Trump says that his ex-wife and the mother of his 3 oldest children, Ivana, has died. That was posted on Truth Social just a short time ago. He said, quote, "I'm very saddened to inform all of those that loved her, of which there are many, that Ivana Trump has passed away at her home in New York City. She was a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great.
I just figured I would mention it in the Trump
Donald Jr., Ivanka,
rundown.
and Eric. She was so proud of them, and they were all so proud of her. Rest in peace, Ivana, writes the former president, Donald Trump. Ivana Trump was born in Czechoslovakia. She was a model. She was a competitive skier in her home country and an Austria.
A competitive skier, that's cool.
A ski instructor. And continued to model. Then she moved to New York, and she met Donald Trump in 1977. He was her second husband.
Can I say that apparently we're going to get Geraldo Rivera on the phone?
Leave 2 other husbands after that. Here are some images of them. Geraldo Rivera joins me now, co-host of The Five. Geraldo, you are a legendary man about town in New York, as Donald Trump was, and at that time as well. Your thoughts on the passing of this woman who, you know, the country grew to know quite a bit about over the course of her lifetime.
Wait.
News, tragic.
So it wasn't Donald that was with the Ninja Turtles. No. It was Ivana.
Say, put Fred Flintstone's face on a mug and then sell it, or market a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle T-shirt. You need a license. And at the New York Hilton right now is the 1990 licensing show. We sent Chauncey Howell there today, and he ran into, of all people, Ivana Trump.
Definitely. On Spider-Man here. Spider-Man, Snoopy, they're all here. Garfield's really doing a number, isn't he? Garfield. Ivana Trump's at the licensing show, too, with Fred Flintstone.
Yes, not only is Geraldo still alive, but he'll give you the best takes you're going to get on Fox News. Hands down. He'll get rowdy with because, like, you know, they're just saying, like, fucking stupid shit. Geraldo will call them out on just blatantly stupid shit. And he has some amazing facial hair. Geraldo overall is probably pretty cool. just saying. At least he's cool for like fucking boomer conservative shit.
Fred, amazing. Thought about putting the Snoopy on a line of pen wipers, but I noticed Snoopy's starting to shed. Fortunately, Dennis the Menace doesn't shed. Ivana found out to her relief.
Somebody doesn't speak to Fred.
Yeah, silly, isn't it? But this is what License 90, the show, is all about. 140 exhibitors at the New York Hilton who want to put their...
Why are they kicking each other?
Like MGM's Pink Panther. Good example.
You got sweatshirts.
Sweatshirt.
Glasses.
Glasses.
Hat.
Hat.
Cup.
Cup.
Stuffed Pink Panthers.
Oh, my God.
Tons of Pink Panthers.
The licensing business accounts for more than $60 billion a year in retail sales.
Yabba dabba doo!
Fred Flintstone could be worth millions of dollars.
Oh,
in
shit.
Sales they would not otherwise have. Well, Astro is the future dog. Everyone loves pets and everyone loves the future. Put them together and profits are astronomical.
I love dumb.
Cowabunga, dudes.
The Simpsons, hot stuff, but the really hot stuff here is the Ninja Turtles. A lot of action at that booth. Radical dudes.
Guys, I want a adult single player story driven action RPG Ninja Turtles game. I want that. I want to shoot it in my fucking veins, you know? Like a Batman game or, like fucking Spider-Man game. I want a Ninja Turtles game. You will capitalize on the fucking like late 30s demographic. We will so be into that. I will play the hell out of a fucking awesome single player story driven action RPG Ninja Turtles game. Yeah, something like that, Silverhawk. Oh no, I don't know about Elden Ring. The combat's a little too hard. The 80s and 90s TMNT games were indeed good. I've played them in, like, are you talking about the beat 'em ups? Or are you talking about like the NES game where you had to ride around in the the turtle van. Sure. The beat 'em ups was the one like we were like it was like a 2-player. Turtles in Time.
Radical dude.
Like Super Nintendo.
Ninja Turtle ice bars. Ninja Turtle orange drink. Ninja Turtle fruit snack.
Ninja Turtle cookies. We got cereal too.
Gotta taste better than these cookies.
Finally back with Ivana. She told me that she met Spider-Man.
This is from 1990.
Fresh, she said, bug off.
I think she had the eyes for me, though.
Then she told me how she hopes to license the plaza. You know, more mugs, golf caps, stuff.
The sheets, comforters, wallpapers, china.
How about all the silverware people have stolen from you over the years? Hope to get that back.
We're going to get it back out of them.
Oh, she looks great today. Do I have to return the 2 towels I stole in 1957? Do you want to see how
Her hair is so tall. Remember, we're coming out of the 80s here.
Dude, you are a radical dude.
Thank you.
That's the Ninja Turtle talk, you know.
Take the tower and just.
No, the cookies are better now. They got pot in them.
It's great.
She
I
is a
think the whole
radical
program
dude.
is going to be fantastic.
Can you say radical dude? That's Ninja Turtle talk.
Radical? No, I can't.
Radical dude. Radical dude.
Radical dude.
You notice how Chauncey came back with that glow on his face
Yes, he
today?
did. Ivana will do that to
That's
you.
right. Ivana Trump's Plaza Hotel licensing agent by.
So that is Ivana Trump. She passed the fuck away today. Do you guys want to continue listening to Trump talk about her, or do you want to move the fuck on? We got juicy shit coming up. I'm ready to move on, but if you guys want to hear Trump actually talk about her, no, Silverhawk says, I like it.